Keith Akers, who has devoted much research into this question, points out the existence of different versions of the biblical story, the feeding of the 5,000 or the feeding of the multitude. He says, if you look at other accounts of the same incident, if you look, for instance, or for example, at the early church fathers who also talk about the feeding of the 5,000, Irenaeus mentions the feeding of the 5,000. Eusebius also mentions that, and another early church writer also discusses Jesus' feeding of the multitude. And in every case, they discuss the bread, but they don't mention anything about fish. So I think fish is a later addition, he says. He also goes on to say, in fact, if you even look at the New Testament, it says at another point, when Jesus is talking about the feeding of the 5,000, he says, don't you remember when I fed the multitudes and all the bread we took up? And he doesn't mention the fish. That's Keith Akers. See his website, compassionatespirit.com, and his book, Was Jesus a Vegetarian? Matthew 16:9, loaves without any mention of fish. Quote, do you not yet perceive? Do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many baskets you gathered? Unquote. No fish. No fish included with the loaves there. The same is also true with a similar or parallel reference in Mark chapter 8. No fishes with the loaves. Irenaeus lived during the 2nd century and described in detail the miracle of the multitude being fed with bread. No mention whatsoever of fish. Eusebius and other early historians mention the loaves, but not the loaves and fishes. And when I looked into this further, I found 2 more references in early Christian apocryphal writings to the feeding of the 5,000. And again, reference is made to bread, but not the fish, as if in the New Testament they were reading at the time. The feeding of the 5,000 didn't include fish because fish hadn't been inserted into Greek gospel manuscripts yet, my guess. The bread is everywhere present, but the fish only sometimes, says Keith Akers.